Hello everyone, and welcome back to Yacht Ledger. Let's start with a brutal, honest question. When you see a $100 million mega yacht cutting through the waters of the Mediterranean, what do you actually see? To the untrained eye, it represents the pinnacle of human success. It looks like the ultimate financial trophy, a floating testament to someone's ability to master the markets, build empires, and conquer the financial world. The media, Hollywood, and Instagram influencers love to portray these vessels as symbols of absolute freedom and ultimate wealth. They make you believe that buying a yacht is simply what you do when you make it. It is presented as a high net worth asset, something of immense value that locks your wealth into a beautiful, tangible, floating piece of art. But behind the glossy paint, the polished teak wood, and the champagne parties lies a dark financial truth that the marketing brochures will never show you. A truth that even some billionaires only realize after the contract is signed and the vessel touches the water. A yacht is never an investment. It never has been, and it never will be. In fact, calling a superyacht an investment is perhaps the greatest financial lie ever told in the luxury world. Today, we are going to peel back the layers of this beautiful illusion. We are going to calculate the real, unvarnished math, explore the psychology of depreciation, and look at the silent burden that no one tells you about. By the end of this video, you will understand why the wealthiest people on Earth don't buy yachts to make money, and why those who buy them expecting a return always lose. Before we unlock the ledger on this mystery, make sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and join our crew. Let's look at the numbers. In the world of finance, an investment is technically defined as an asset, purchased with the expectation that it will generate income or appreciate in value over time. Real estate, blue-chip stocks, tech companies, and even certain rare art pieces fit this description. They hold their ground, fight inflation, and potentially give you a return. A yacht does the exact opposite. The very second a custom-built superyacht leaves the shipyard and drops its anchor in public waters, its value drops catastrophically. It experiences what economists call accelerated luxury depreciation. Unlike a mansion in Beverly Hills or a penthouse in London, a yacht is built from materials that are trapped in a brutal, unending war against nature. Salt water, humidity, extreme sun exposure, and continuous mechanical vibration are constantly tearing the asset apart from the inside out. On average, a brand new superyacht loses between 10% to 20% of its total value within the first year alone. Think about that for a moment. If a billionaire spends $50 million on a custom yacht, up to $10 million of that wealth evaporates into thin air before the first season is even over. By year 5, the vessel is often worth less than half of what it cost to build. In traditional investing, if an asset manager lost 50% of your capital in 5 years, you would fire them immediately. Yet, in the maritime world, this is just accepted as the cost of admission. The yacht brokers will tell you that the secondary market is strong, but the reality is that selling a used superyacht is notoriously difficult. These vessels are highly customized. One billionaire's dream interior, filled with specific exotic woods, custom layouts, and personalized art, is often another billionaire's nightmare. To sell it, owners must accept massive, multi-million-dollar haircuts on their initial price. A yacht does not store value. It destroys it with mathematical precision. But the loss of initial value is just the beginning of the bleeding. The real shock comes from what we call the silent burn. In the maritime industry, there is a fundamental law known as the 10% rule. This rule states that the annual operating cost of a superyacht will average roughly 10% of its original purchase price every single year. Let's do the simple cold math. If you own a $30 million yacht, you aren't just spending $30 million. You are signing up to spend an additional $3 million every year just to keep it floating, legal, and operational. If you keep that yacht for 10 years, you will have spent the entire original value of the vessel all over again just in maintenance. Where does this money go? It burns through 100 different hidden channels. First, there is the crew. A mega yacht cannot run itself. You need captains, first mates, engineers, chefs, and stewardesses. These are highly skilled professionals who require competitive salaries, insurance, food, and uniform allowances. Next, you have dockage and mooring fees. Parking a 50-meter yacht in a prime location like Monaco, Saint-Tropez, or Ibiza during the peak summer season doesn't cost a few $100s. It can cost thousands of dollars per night. And you have to pay for those berths months in advance. Then comes the fuel. Refueling a superyacht isn't like pulling up to a regular gas station. These vessels hold hundreds of thousands of liters of fuel. A single trip across the Atlantic Ocean can easily rack up a fuel bill of $100,000 or more. And finally, insurance and regulatory compliance. The legal paperwork, safety audits, and maritime insurance premiums required to protect a floating asset are staggering. Whether the yacht is sailing the world or sitting completely empty at a dock, the meter is always running. Every second of every day, a yacht is burning through cash. It is a business that produces zero revenue, but demands infinite capital. Now, many amateur financial theorists or ambitious onlookers will argue, but what about chartering? Can't you just charter the yacht to elite guests when you aren't using it to offset the costs and turn it into a profitable business? This is the charter myth, and it is a trap that many unsuspecting buyers fall into. Let's break down the reality of the charter market. Yes, wealthy individuals pay hundreds of thousands of dollars per week to rent a superyacht. But transitioning your private vessel into a commercial charter yacht introduces a massive wave of new expenses and structural headaches. First, the moment a yacht is used for commercial chartering, it must comply with vastly stricter international maritime laws, safety codes, and tax regulations. Upgrading a private yacht to meet these commercial standards often requires millions of dollars in structural modifications, high-end safety gear, and specialized crew certifications. Second, charter guests are paying premium prices, which means they expect perfection. The wear and tear on the vessel skyrockets. Silk carpets get stained, custom furniture gets damaged, and mechanical systems are pushed to their absolute limits. The money you make from a charter week is heavily diluted by the subsequent repair bills, marketing agency fees, and management commissions. But the most compelling argument against this myth comes from observing the behavior of the ultra-wealthy. Why is it that the wealthiest owners, the true multi-billionaires, almost never charter their yachts out to the public? Because they understand that the primary value of a yacht is not money. It is absolute privacy and total control. If you charter your yacht, it is no longer your private sanctuary. It becomes a hotel. You have to remove your personal belongings, change the crew's focus, and plan your own vacation around someone else's booking schedule. True wealth doesn't trade peace of mind for a discount on maintenance. They accept the financial loss because they value their isolation. Chartering to make a yacht an investment is a paradox. It ruins the very reason you bought the yacht in the first place. So, if the math is so terrible, if the depreciation is so absolute, and if chartering doesn't save you, why do intelligent, highly successful people still buy them? The answer lies in psychology, not in finance. A yacht is not a financial instrument. It is a lifestyle consumption mechanism. It is a machine designed to convert raw capital into highly exclusive human experiences. When a billionaire buys a yacht, they are buying a borderless sovereignty. They are purchasing the ability to disappear from the grid, to protect their family, in a completely secure environment, and to access coastal destinations in a way that no commercial luxury resort could ever replicate. However, there is a dividing line between those who understand this and those who don't. True wealth begins with restraint and financial discipline. The elite owners don't look at their yacht ledger expecting to see a green arrow pointing up. They write off the purchase price the moment the wire transfer clears. They view the yacht as an expense account for their personal happiness. They don't try to justify it as an asset class. The danger happens when people buy yachts to impress others, or worse, when they stretch their financial boundaries believing they can manage the asset like a real estate investment. They try to cut corners on maintenance, they underpay the crew, or they obsessively track fuel costs. When you do that, the yacht starts controlling you. Instead of a source of freedom, it becomes a source of immense psychological anxiety. You don't own the yacht owns you. It dictates your mood, drains your focus, and stands as a constant reminder of a miscalculated financial ego. Real status in the maritime world is silent. The owners who understand the sea the best are the ones who speak the least about the cost. They don't show off, they don't look for validation on social media, and they certainly don't call their boat an investment. They know it's a luxury liability, and they are completely fine with that. At the end of the day, a superyacht is not an answer to a financial equation. It is a question that life asks you once you have acquired a certain level of wealth. It asks, now that you have all the money you could ever need, how much are you willing to burn just to feel entirely separate from the rest of the world? If you are looking to grow your wealth, compound your capital, or protect your inheritance, stay as far away from the ocean as possible. Buy real estate, invest in businesses, or lock your money into sovereign bonds. The sea does not care about your financial portfolio, and it has no mercy for your balance sheet. But if you have reached a level of financial freedom where money is no longer a tool for survival, but a tool for experiencing absolute isolation, privacy, and custom luxury, then buy a yacht. Just remember the golden rule of the shipyard. Write off the cost, respect the 10% rule, and never, ever call it an investment. Thank you for tuning in to day one of our 30-day journey into the hidden truths of yacht ownership. What are your thoughts on the real cost of these floating palaces? Would you ever own one knowing these numbers? Or would you prefer the peace of mind of chartering someone else's liability? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Yacht Ledger, and share this with your crew.